In a faraway land, nestled between rolling hills and sparkling rivers, there lived a little girl named Ella. Now, Ella wasn't just any ordinary girl. Oh no, she was an extraordinary designer, a whiz kid when it came to creating things. Her mind was like a kaleidoscope of ideas, always spinning, always inventing. Not far from Ella's village, deep in the heart of a whispering willow forest, lived a young boy named Finn. He had a gift, a knack for engineering. If there was anything broken in the village, he was the one to fix it. His nimble fingers could mend a leaky roof or a wilting windmill faster than anyone else. And then there was Kai, a dreamer, a poet, a free spirit who lived by the shimmering azure sea. He loved nothing more than sailing his little boat, letting the wind whip through his hair as he navigated the waves. Creativity flowed through him like the tides of the sea, always changing, always inspiring. One day, a royal messenger carrying a golden scroll arrived at each of their villages. The king had announced a grand kite competition. All children from the kingdom were invited to participate. The best kite would win a golden trophy and a year's supply of sweets. More importantly, they'd get to meet the king and queen. Each child was excited but nervous. For Ella, the competition was a chance to show off her amazing designs. For Finn, it was a test of his engineering skills. And for Kai, it was an opportunity to let his creativity soar. But none of them knew that the king had a secret plan. Back at the palace, the king and queen looked out over their kingdom from the highest tower. The king sighed. "It's been so long since we've had some excitement around here," he said. "That's right," the queen agreed. "The children haven't had a proper adventure in ages. I say we shake things up a bit." She had an idea. "Why don't we announce a kite competition? It'll bring all the children together. And what better way to lift their spirits?" The king loved the idea. So that's how the royal announcement came to be. But there was more to the king's plan than just a bit of fun. You see, he wanted to bring these 3 special children together. Each of them was the best at something, but they didn't know it. And he hoped the kite competition would change that. Ella spent weeks designing the most magnificent kite she could imagine. She drew pictures of fantastical creatures and adorned it with bright colors and patterns. She wanted her kite to be the most beautiful of them all. Meanwhile, Finn was busy in his workshop. He wasn't making a kite, he was building a machine, a kite-powered helicopter, if you will. With whirling rotors and propellers, it was going to be the most ingenious invention at the competition. As for Kai, he was lost in his own world, composing poems about brave knights and soaring dragons. He wasn't sure what kind of kite to make, but he knew it had to be extraordinary. On the day of the competition, each child arrived with their creation. Ella's kite was a spectacle of color and design, swirling and twirling in the gentle breeze. Finn's kite helicopter stood tall, its gears and gadgets gleaming in the sun. And Kai's kite, well, it was a mystery, or rather it was supposed to be. Unfortunately, a strong gust of wind had snatched his kite away before he could finish it. All Kai had was an empty spool of string in his hand. The other children laughed at him. They thought he'd given up, but they didn't know Kai as well as he knew himself. Just as the competition was about to begin, Kai stepped forward. "I may not have a kite," he said, "but I do have a story to tell." The children gathered close, intrigued. Kai began to speak, his voice rising and falling like the tide. "Once upon a time," he started, and as he wove his tale, a magnificent kite took shape in the sky, a dragon so realistic it seemed as though it might breathe fire. The children gasped. Where others saw a tangled mess of string, Kai saw a dancing dragon. Ella and Finn watched in awe. Kai's creativity was unlike anything she'd ever seen, and she couldn't help but smile. Meanwhile, Finn noticed something. Kai's dragon kite had no tail, no way to keep it stable in the wind. He had an idea. As the competition started, the children let their kites soar. Ella's kite twirled and dipped, its colorful tail streaming behind it like a ribbon. Finn's kite helicopter whirred and spun, its blades catching the wind. And Kai's kite soared high above them all, its wings spread wide in a silent salute. Suddenly, the dragon began to falter. Its flight was erratic, almost comical. It was too top-heavy and kept losing altitude. At that moment, Ella knew what she had to do. She unfurled the extra fabric she'd designed for her own kite and tied it to the dragon's tail. Instantly, the dragon became graceful, its movements fluid and elegant. Finn watched in amazement as the dragon danced in the sky. It was a sight to behold. Then he noticed the dragon's head was wobbling dangerously. With a few well-placed adjustments, he had the perfect solution. Using his engineering skills, he attached a counterweight to the front of the dragon, balancing it just so. Kai was overjoyed. "It's perfect," he cried. And then it happened. The dragon kite rose higher and higher until it touched the fluffy white clouds. The children cheered. It was the most spectacular sight they'd ever seen. When the judges, the king and queen, arrived, they were blown away. Not only was the dragon the most beautiful kite there, it was also the tallest. They awarded it the golden trophy and a year's supply of sweets. But the real prize was the friendship that had blossomed between Ella, Finn, and Kai. They had learned that together they could achieve something they never could have done alone. Now, whenever the clouds grew dark and stormy in that faraway land, the children knew that with a little teamwork and a lot of imagination, they could always lift each other up, just like their dragon kite. For more adventures with Ella, Finn, and Kai, subscribe to our channel. And if you liked this story, give it a thumbs up. Who knows, maybe one day you'll see a majestic dragon kite dancing in your own clouds.